With the 2027 general elections on the horizon, there's growing concern that Nigeria may be drifting towards a one-party state. The ruling All Progressive Congress has consolidated power in ways that many say threaten the country's democratic balance.
Opposition defections to the weakening of institutional checks. Critics argue that the political playing field is anything but level, as many say. The country may be headed to a one-party state with the ruling APC now in control of 26 out of 36 states in the country, with the PDP controlling 6, Accord 1, Labour Party 1, NPP 1, APGA 1. Well, is this just political statements, or is it leading to something that everyone should be wary of? The conversation is one we're having right now this morning. Joining us is Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, in Lagos State. We are joined by Mr. George Ashiru. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you. Good morning to you and to all the viewers as well.
Interesting. I mean, we're just taking a look at the statistics. 36 states, 26 now owned in terms of political statement or lexicon by the APC, and just 10 shared amongst other political parties. What does this look like? Are we moving closely to what the current or the incumbent political party has denied, which has been described as a one-party state? Or you don't see it that way? Do you see it differently?
Well, let me put it this way. There are 26 governors that have to account to their people why they were voted in to ease their sufferings and the burdens of life, and rather they actually capitulated to the organization, the institution, the party that created the policies that increased sufferings of the people. You know, leaders in Africa have a tendency to go towards where the money is. And so when the allocations of these governors increased, they began to see it as, well, the person that feeds us, we need to get closer to him, so that at least we will make sure that we're guaranteed another 4 years of the effect out of the suffering of the people. So when we remove subsidy, the governors became richer. When we liberalize the economy, the governors became richer. When the cost of passports that we're getting, driving licenses, and all these institutional instruments that we use to govern our nations increased in prices 3-4-fold. Electricity increased 4-5-fold. Who are the beneficiaries? These governors. And so what they're doing is like osmosis. They're all migrating to the source of their revenues, but they are forgetting that the impact of those policies on the people is in reverse. People got poorer over the past decade, and as people got poorer, the governors got richer, the elites got richer. And who are the people voting? How many elites are in Nigeria? Probably a maximum of 10,000, 20,000 people that are extremely rich. But there are 240 million Nigerians, and the vast majority of them, about 66% of them, are living below the poverty line. So I'm not moved by the personal decisions of 10 governors, 8 governors, 6 governors to migrate in a certain area. It is something that people do when they are self-centered and selfish. We see people jumping from one business to the other, from one office. You know, loyalty is a very scarce thing in this generation. But I will tell you one thing, they are not going where the people want them to go. That's why you never see the celebrations on the streets. It's always in the palaces. It's always in the coffers of the people that actually lead all of this going back and forth. Although I must also say that some of them are leaving because the institutions they belong to are unstable. In the case of PDP governors, they had no choice. But the fact that they went to the organization that made them unstable in itself makes me think that perhaps they were never really part of the party that they originally belonged to. They were probably there as moles. And that's just my opinion. But critically thinking about it, Nigerians need leaders that are stable, consistent, and stand for the people, not for their own comfort.
Now, Mr. Ashiru, still on this point of how did we end up in this situation, and from your analysis, you said a lot of this executives just follow the money. And from what they say, they want to align with the center. Would you say that that's the only reason, or that, you know, the ruling party also played a part in destabilizing some of the opposition parties? Case in point, People's Democratic Party? Or does the opposition, the opposition parties, do they not share any blame in this?
Yes, I just mentioned it. When your party is unstable, that means you do not govern yourself well. Corporate governance is weak. In political parties like PDP and unfortunately Labour as well, when corporate governance is weak, what happens is crisis. It comes up with crisis in the end. When you don't have institutional frameworks that guarantee the stability of the organization. So candidates come up through the system, they become governors, members of House of Reps and everything. But the party that sponsored them is unstable. So they are unable to go back to those parties for their next line of action. So I understand that part. But that usually also is sponsored from without. But that's politics. There's a lot of money that comes in. It's very difficult for a governor to tell me you lost control of your own party. I don't understand how the governor could allow his own party to disintegrate under him in the same state, and he had to run to another party. That is the opposition that he originally campaigned against. That means you don't even have an ideology. You don't have, something to stand for or stand on, and then you're deceiving the people. So that is on one side. The idea of alignment is very silly, very, very silly. We're a federation. We are all clamoring for true federation, where the states have some autonomy and they can do their thing. Now you are aligning back and making the center stronger. Other nations, the United States of America, all of them are trying to devolve power to make sure the states and the local government are stronger. Instead, our governors, they are all going to the same place in order to consolidate power in the same center, and then their people are saying marginalization. I don't quite understand the thinking, the political thinking of those who believe that they can just make some statements. Okay, if we're going to do alignment, then what is the point having opposition parties? There's no point. We might as well just have one party and know that we're in a dictatorship. So no, I don't agree with that. I think a lot of them are just following their own individual, self-centered political interests and dragging the people along.
But Mr. Ashiru,
now they feel they are guaranteed to receive more allocation to prosecute the next election. And that is very, very, very wrong. The APC as a party, I don't think we see that in the view, in the lens from which they are saying it, and certainly not myself.
Okay, but Mr. Ashiru, what would make a political party member or a card-carrying member of a political party, take for instance the PDP, governors who belong to the PDP, we've seen the Akwa Ibom State governor and the likes, who know that they are on a mandate using that political platform, and all of a sudden they just decide to switch. What could be in the offing? What's that icing on the cake that's making the governors just all of a sudden wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I want to align in the center? And by the way, what does aligning with the center literally mean? Is it monetary because they do receive federal allocations? What really is it? I just want to get your thoughts. If you been in the political space deeper than possibly we are, because we're not politicians, you may have heard what the pudding or the icing on the cake really is.
Okay, let me give you a scenario. Imagine you want to run for office. You have run for office and you want to go back and rerun to have a second term. And imagine if a very formidable candidate rises up in your party to challenge you, and then you are not sure of taking the tickets when you do a primaries. Then you see another party that guarantees you that you will have no opposition. We will guarantee you the tickets. And so whatever money you have, you don't need to worry about using it for primaries contest. Just go straight to your election and we will protect you with federal might. Wouldn't that sound very attractive politically? And a lot of that is what you are seeing here. And that is people making decisions based on their own personal political interests. I doubt if any of these governors went back to do a referendum or a town hall meeting with the CDAs, with the communities, with the towns, with the heads of communities, with their kings and others, and asked them, is this what the people want? A lot of them made decisions purely based on their own personal political survival. And this is unfortunately the merry-go-round that makes Nigeria difficult to develop as a nation, because people are making decisions first based on parochial reasons, rather than for patriotic reasons. And I say it every time I come on your channel, that once people lose the love of the nation or their people, they're never going to make decisions that are right for the people. It is always going to be for themselves. And this is just basically where it is. They're going to where the money is. They're going to guarantees that they're going to return to office. They're going to guarantees that the allocations will be released to them on time, or that they'll get other federal contracts. And individually, that they might even get some protection from the law when they leave the office. So many of these things are decisions that they are making on their own. And unfortunately, the kinds of people that are attracted to politics tend to be the kind of people that have politics. We chose not to go to those existing parties that already had a record on their fearsomes and corruption and destroying the nation. We went to a party that had never been in government so that we could build it from scratch and then make it to be the credible alternative. And that's why you see everybody now talking to APC. And they're trying to benefit from the fact that finally there might be a party that has proper internal corporate governance and administration. So we are not going to permit that sort of thing where people are guaranteed tickets and seats. You have to go through the process. But they don't want to go through that. They want guarantees. They want someone to say, don't worry, I've talked to them or I will talk to them. In the last election in Ogun State, I remember that the president specifically said he took the hand of this particular person and said, this is the person you must use as your government. How is that democratic? And you see, this is exactly why all of these people feel comfortable, that once this particular individual guarantees us, we're going to win that election. But the people are going to rebel. I said it again the last time you called me on this particular topic. The people are going to show them that they have a different mind, and the suffering that they're experiencing, they don't want it to be repeated.
And that brings me to this point. You've raised some very poignant points that, a lot of these governors just make unilateral decisions. There was no town hall, no consultations. It's absolutely brazen. And I can go as far as a slap on the electorate that puts you in power. My question is two-pronged. The first is, how do we stop this from being a norm? Because in Nigerian political history, we've always seen, copycat strategies, and people think it's normal, even though it's an anomaly. You copy something, and then it becomes the norm. And number two, the fact that a governor has defected, does that guarantee them an absolute victory at the polls? Does it mean they're going to return? And do we have a sophisticated electorate that would note some of these things and remember some of the decisions, these unilateral decisions that they made in their own selfish interest at the polls?
I think the first thing they want to do is guarantee that they will not have to be challenged in the primaries. The first thing they want to do is guarantee that they're going to be the sole candidates in the governorship reruns, and that's as simple as that. And then the second one is that they might believe also that the cumulative expenditure of the federal government with their own war chest will guarantee them victory. That if I'm aligned with the center will spend money on my campaign. I will spend some money on my campaign. That's double my campaign funds, and then I'm sure to win. But if it's federal, that is the person who's running for president again, is running against me in my state by supporting another candidate, then it's going to make the election tougher. So you can imagine if, for example, I don't want to mention the name of any state. Let me just say the state is called Delta Anguilla, and you are running for governor again, and the presidency is supporting someone to run in an opposition party and funding and releasing the strength of the police and the DSS and the security apparatus to support such a person against you. You're going to have to spend through your nose. And you're going to have to really, really get to the people. But if you have not governed for the people will not back you up. And so when you're not sure that the people will back you up, of course, it's easy to sell out. That's what you are seeing. They're simply selling out.
Okay, talking about simply selling out, let me see if I could, have the producers put up a graphic on the screen. And I want us to look at this very tentatively. Ondo State, Edo State, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Imo, Abia. You also have Akwa Ibom. You also have Cross River. Practically, it seems like some of the states, particularly states in the south, have all conformed to becoming APC states. But let me run it through by you as well. In the South, you have Delta, Akwa Ibom, you have Edo, you have Cross River, Rivers, Bayelsa. 6 of them, APC certified. Southeast, Enugu, APC, Ebonyi, APC, Imo, APC, Abia, Labour Party, of course, and Anambra, ABGA. But coincidentally, Abia and Anambra have lent their voice or their voices in support of Mr. President. And then the Southwest as well, you have Lagos, Ekiti, Ogun, Ondo, only Oyo and Osun State recently, which is the Accord Party. The list goes on, it's endless. You do have Northeast, you have Northwest, particularly seems the Northwest, they've all moved over to the APC as well, aside from Zamfara and Kano State. While Northeast, you have just about 2-3 of them, which is Borno, Yobe, and also you have Adamawa, which remains with the PDP and so on. Well, I'm just running through all of these lists. That map we showed didn't do full justice to what I'm going through, but I'm just running through some of the other states as well. And like we mentioned, it's obvious that these states are moving. There's one word that stands out in highlighting these things, and that's otherwise known as political pressure. Political pressure is what I choose to term it. And political pressure is this, in the sense that, take for instance, if you look at one of the states, North Central, all the states in North Central have moved to the APC except one, which is Plateau State. Governor Mutfwang has said he's not moving, even though he sides with the APC and has given his full support to the president. My question, is this political pressure enough to bend even the most formidable governor who does not belong to the APC to eventually succumb and say, listen, I'm just going to join this party because of the pressure? Or do you think these governors are just moving out of sheer willingness, that they really just want to move?
Okay, so let me give you some historical analysis. In the beginning of the Third Republic, far more states belonged to the People's Democratic Party. You know, when General Obasanjo was president of Nigeria, actually the entire country was PDP, except for the Southwest. And the Southwest, that was at that time alliance with democracy, invariably, by the time Obasanjo was going for a second term, almost entirely, the entire Southwest went to PDP, and leaving only Lagos states. But where's PDP now? You know, invariably, no matter how much pressure you put, no matter how much federal might you use, people are going to wisen up and say, okay, you know what, they're not going to manipulate us. We've seen it before. We have seen when one party was so boastful that they couldn't do power for 60 years, were the largest party in Africa, and they controlled more states than APC is controlling now. But where is that same party today? And so that's why I keep saying it, that in the end, the people will vote according to their experience. And what is their experience? The experiences they have is different from the experience of their governors. Their governors are going in 50-man car convoys. Their governors are living in massive mansions paid for by the government, by the taxpayers. And so the experience of the governors has made them forget the suffering of the people. And so when they make decisions, they don't first think, these people that I put there, that put me there, that suffered and are suffering under these policies of this current administration, what kind of palliative measures am I going to give them a succor? And I'm not talking palliative in terms of, cash transfer. I'm talking about, going to people and make them feel better about their future, their opportunities, and giving more employment opportunities. Rather, your best action is to say, let me align, because somebody is already in power, so let me align with them. Those are all political actions. As a chairman of a political party, I can tell you that people are constantly under pressure to align with a group because that group seems to be on the ascendancy. So you will see, that's what's happening. No, people move. That's what's happening. People move. That's unstable character, unstable nature, it's unstable emotions, unstable leadership, and unstable people don't provide good governance. They will always make decisions based on their personal interest, never in the interest of the people. And I keep saying this over and over again. that it's going to get to the point where our younger generation, who are more enlightened, more intelligent, more internationally exposed, and seen democracy in other countries, are going to start saying, no. This is not why I got my PVC, so that I can follow you into these mistakes and this maelstrom that you created in the first place. A lot of people are going to rebel against these governors, and a lot of governors are going to lose their seats simply because the people will either choose not to vote or vote against them.
Now, Mr. Ashiru, before we wrap up, let's look at 2027 and the role of the opposition in Nigeria, and also money politics. As we speak, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics' own data, 133 million Nigerians are living below the poverty line. We saw what happened in the just concluded polls in Anambra, where people gave out their votes for little as, malt drinks and sausages. And so, I mean, what chances does the opposition stand in this sort of environment where people are multi-dimensionally poor? How can you go up against the war chest of the ruling party? Even getting your message across to all corners of Nigeria is going to cost a lot of money. So you have brilliant policies of the party, the ADC, but how can you go up against this juggernaut with its war chest and the amount of governors they have as we approach 2027 to preach your message that, look, there could be a better alternative in our party?
Okay. To start with, unfortunately, a lot of political parties end up giving their tickets to people that never, ever had the heart of the people in mind. A lot of political parties just impose candidates. They impose candidates, and those candidates become the problem of the people later on, because they never had a vision. They had no idea what they wanted to do in power. They just wanted to get that seat. And people in Africa, and them, a lot of the so-called middle class no never exist anymore. So we have very poor people, about 70% of it, and then people who might be middle class, probably about 25%, and that's lower middle class. And then you have the extremely rich who control probably 60%. According to Oxfam, 65% of the world's wealth are in the hands of just 50 people. 65% of the wealth of the world is under the control of about 60 people. The richest people on this nation own more than the rest of us combined. And I think this is this animal farm, this ultra capitalism that we're practicing in a poor nation. We are rich in resources, but our people are poor because of mismanagement. And the messaging is that enough people are now so unsure whether the sitting government and you promising together will not be the same. So they just give it to whoever gives them the money. So when they don't see a credible alternative, they'll take whatever they have. And that's what happens. So they will take Gala because nobody is telling them that I have a better vision. And that's why we are saying that we want to make sure that we are promoting that messaging to the people, that there is a better way to govern. There's a better way to lead. There are better kinds of people that should be in leadership and authority. It should not just be a winner-take-all scenario where people fight to get power at all costs and then try to keep power at all costs, including killing people. All of that needs to change. And that's why I think I will always say this. The country must never be the kind of politics that we are currently experiencing, which is one set of people just take power and they don't give a damn what happens to their people. That's why they can jump it up and down from one party to the other. Well,
thank you so much for your time, Mr. George Ashiru, for breaking things down concerning this. I know it's a consistent conversation, or it's a long conversation rather, and everyone is talking about this, looking at what the map is saying and the political pressure that is being put on some who have said they are not going to move either way. But thanks for breaking it down for us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashiru.
On a rainy Thursday morning.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day.